Welcome, everybody, to the Retail Podcast, our weekly episode. We're very excited to have another guest today. We have Michelle Rocha, who is the founder and CEO of Confidence Plus Fashion. And she's going to give us an input on how she got started and what's keeping her business going through these tough times. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm good, Carlos. Thanks for having me.
Great to hear. So, Michelle, I know you have over 20 years of retail experience coming with you in the corporate America. What took you from going through the corporate America channel and actually starting your own business?
Sure. So having been in retail, as you said, for, I think I'm going to date myself a little, 25 years plus, I really thought about how, once I ended one chapter of my career, I really thought about how I wanted to move forward, and that involved, creating a space that, was relative to me, that was meaningful to me, and where I could create some sort of positive impact, in the retail industry, we go with the flow, it's other people making decisions and it's fine, but it's something, dreams and goals that you have of your own, you always want to have the opportunity, to push forward with, and this was my chance. So I went for it. Being a curvy woman myself, and looking at an underserved market, out there in retail for plus size women, it made sense to me, and it was something that I could fully get behind. And that's, pretty much why I started the business.
Awesome. So is Confidence Plus Fashion, fast fashion retail dedicated to plus women sizes, or is it just more of your streamlined fashion, or what kind of merchandise do you guys carry?
We definitely carry some fast fashion, but we really gear more towards the 25 to 35-year-old is our core customer. So we're not in the necessarily disposable, fashion. We definitely want higher quality goods, not higher end. We want to still make it affordable to people. It's interesting because I have customers that, come from all parts of the United States, and some are, I found out are as young as, their low 20s, up to, the high 40s and 50s in some cases. It's finding the right assortment, that appeals to, cross categories of demographics. And that's what we've tried to do here.
Awesome. And so I know talking previously before we actually got on the call today, you mentioned that a big game changer for you guys have been to focus on the experience factor for your customers, right? Go way beyond the merchandise. And so I would like to talk a little bit about that, not necessarily just for Confidence Plus Fashion, but what's your input on that for all the listeners out there, right? Because I think so many people are so geared to just the name brands and the clothing and the big name brands. But I think now the consumer is so much more driven beyond that point to where they want to get a complete experience from getting that shirt. It's bigger than a shirt. It's part of their life, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now more than ever, that customer shopping experience is intertwined with your marketing and your branding. Making that customer feel comfortable and relatable, making yourself and your business relatable to that customer, will give them that, confidence that they can purchase from you. They feel comfortable. You convey the same message as them. We talk about, and just in all my previous experience and just in researching this before I started, the whole idea of being customer centric, is just a really important term right now, that I always keep top of mind. We talk about being customer focused, and customer focus is a little different, customer centric is really about finding, and getting a group of customers that trust you, and how do you do that? You have to engage with them. For me, it was in this day and age with COVID, it's a lot of social media, a lot of, it's a lot more challenging for sure. But even in the creation of our site, we wanted it to be something that was engaging. So it was interactive. So for me, it was to put my face out, in front of the business on social media. We all have our comfort zones, and definitely that was not one of mine. but I wanted to make sure that we got that message out, and to be honest and to be genuine, and that it doesn't matter nowadays. People talk about, oh, I have 100,000 followers or 20,000 followers. And it's not necessarily about that. It's about that shopping experience and building those loyal customers. And those are the ones that are going to sustain your business. And by engaging with them consistently, whether we could talk about that later, but more, engaging with them in different ways, builds that trust. And then they feel good about, buying from you. And doesn't become just about the product. They like you, as a brand.
Absolutely. No, and I like what you mentioned right there, because I think that's the key factor, right? Everybody is always under the misconception that because I have a very large following, right? You can pay for followers. That doesn't really translate into anything. You mentioned the key word right there. It's all about engagement, right? So even if you have 100 followers, but you have 125 comments and engagements, then that means you're doing way better than somebody that has millions of followers, but 10 engagements or 10 comments, So yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And so let's go a little bit deeper then in that regard. I know you guys, one of the big things that you guys were talking to me about, and I found that super interesting, was that you're doing like these video blogs where you're bringing in your guests, right? Whether they're a customer or a potential customer, doesn't really matter, but it's about bringing a person that has overcome some sort of level of issue or strive in their life, and you feature them on your website. And so what's the plan, or what's the idea behind it? What's the goal?
Yeah, again, I mean, I think that, from the conception of confidence plus fashion, it's helping people be comfortable in their own skin, right? So we all have struggles, and it's about winning, right? And winning at life, just the everyday. Sometimes for some people, just to get out of bed is even hard enough. So we really want to look at the people, and we've encouraged people to contribute. And so we have a section on our website called Share Your Confidence. And that's basically where they have the ability to just tell their story, tell their journey. I get emotional because it's a great thing. But, just to let people know, if I can do this, then you can do this. So we've had cancer survivors, we've had people that overcome disabilities, but all sharing their stories. And I think that's been fantastic. And people love that.
Absolutely. And I love that you guys not only have it on a virtual standpoint and showcasing it on your website, but you guys also do, obviously right now with the pandemic, small parties, right? And you bring these guests to feature their life story, to feature that overcoming experience inside the party, right? And I think this initiative, you guys call it Sip and Shop, right? Where you maybe have a little glass of wine and you have a little fun while you're telling the story. Awesome.
Absolutely. So we have different ways to engage, so again, because of COVID and because of the pandemic, we've kind of recreated, what we are for the space. Excuse me. So, we've brought in, we have Sip and Shops, and those are shop lives, and they are for our VIP customers, which those people, that have been featured for us definitely are a part of, and they're able to comment, on the clothing. It's a place where we can share, right? And who doesn't, if you think about the old, oh, I'm going to go shopping with my friends, and you go out there and people tell you, oh my God, you look great in that, or, oh, this works, or don't do that, or, so this is our chance to have that engagement, albeit through social media. And so they're able to comment, but like, oh, I love that, or, oh, I'm not sure how that would fit on me, but everyone is in a community, and that helps, the shopping experience, it creates a better one. We have the Shop Lives, which is that whole Sip and Shop. We also have private parties, again, keeping them to a minimum, at either someone's home, where they invite their group of friends that are closest to them, and they can kind of have a little happy hour shopping experience, or, inside, our facility or my home, where we can have them come and just feel comfortable. It's all about a comfortable setting, somewhere where you can feel they try on, they come, they model, they get super excited, and that's what we want. We want them to be happy about what they're putting, on themselves. We know that clothing, for whatever it's worth, clothing is a reflection of whether it's your mood, your outlook for the day. It really just says, okay, this is how I feel. And so, I mean, this is something that's really helped us
Yeah, no,
in
absolutely.
terms of engagement.
Yeah, and to your point, clothing has a double-edged sword, right? It's not only how you feel,
Hmm.
but how people
Yeah.
perceive you as well, right? And that's so important,
Yeah.
especially going into an interview, going to a party, going on a date,
Sure.
whatever you might be going through
Hmm.
your life. It's important
Hmm.
that you showcase
Yeah.
or portray the perception that you want to have of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I
Absolutely.
love that. And so another thing is that I know that you guys are doing is you're going through digital markets, right? You guys were talking to me about
Hmm.
that. So how is that
Yes.
helping you? What's the initiative behind that?
Well, here it's our way of organic growth, right? So
Okay.
initially the business, one of the business strategies or marketing strategies was to get out to pop-up markets. That was going to be a supplemental way to get the word out. As you know, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs know, digital marketing is expensive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The best way you can get the word out is really, through organic growth, and that involves getting yourself out there. So, and it's amazing the community of entrepreneurs that are out there if you just look for them. If you're starting your business, just search for them. There's so many entrepreneurship groups out there in different cities and states, and you join them and they're really supportive and they want to help each other, right? Because it's small business supporting small business.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
we've connected with several of those, and they have, again, versus a live open air market, they have a virtual market where, we were on one recently where there was probably about 17, 18 vendors that all went live on Facebook at the same time or within a
Okay.
2-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
And the shoppers or the people that were part of that group could go in and click on any of those and really do shopping, almost like a marketplace or a mall, like you would at a pop-up market. You could
Nice,
stop
nice.
by each person's quote unquote booth, basically,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
then you could shop. And what that does for us is it gets the exposure, right? It helps with exposure. It helps with, again, it was our face on the video, on the live, so they could see us interacting, so they could see a little bit of who we are, what the clothing represents. And then that helped them, as a result, you get followers, you get some new purchases, you get people who are interested, and just have more questions about your business. And that's really what it's about.
What would you recommend after all these initiatives that you've done, that you've implemented in your business for yourself? What would you recommend to all the new entrepreneurs that are thinking of going into business? What is the first step? What would you say out of all the things that you did? Would you change the
Mm-hmm.
sequence of events, or would you replicate them the same way that you did them? And if so, what would be that first step, that game changer that said,
Yeah.
yes, I am confident, I am going in the right path,
Yeah.
I want to carry on with my business?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we had a plan.
No, and
And
they change so much, no?
COVID, yeah, and I will tell you, and I'll be fully honest and transparent, that plan was very, probably, based on my experience, it was very corporate based, right? So it's what I knew, it's how we marketed, for many years I was in retail.
Mhm.
And then the COVID changes that, right? So, that strategy that we almost were forced into pivoting to because of the situation
Mhm.
actually is a strategy I would then encourage to somebody else, even outside of a pandemic. It's about, really understanding who you're trying to serve. First, you have to understand the customer. You have to have a why. Why do you want to do this business?
Yeah.
What problem are you going to solve? For a customer,
Mhm.
it's almost like if you consider that 30-second pitch, right? What are you going to solve for them? And then how are you going to do it? And if you start there and you really are really ground in that why, then the rest happens naturally, right? Then you go and say, okay, I'm going to be okay with, as awkward as it may be, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to say, I want you to be a part of my business. I want you to purchase from me. And this is why, these are my reasons as the face of the business, especially if you're a small entrepreneur. It makes so much difference and even now when I shop and I look at, the multitude of ads, and I'm not knocking big retail, they have a job to do, right? They have a
Mhm.
space that they have to fill, but as small entrepreneurs, it's about, what space am I going to fill and what is underserved, and that's what we need to go after as entrepreneurs. And then the key word across all categories is genuine. Just be genuine. So nobody will ever hate you. You'll have some people that are like, oh my God, you look so funny, or you look so awkward, and but it's you, right?
Yeah.
So, if they like you and you believe in your business, then your business will, you'll see the traction and you'll see it flourish.
No, thank you so much for that recommendation
Yeah.
out there. So I think all of the points that you mentioned are great, Michelle, especially because most entrepreneurs, they're always, once they start their business, they think this is the path. I've decided to go down this
Mm-hmm.
particular plan. And then the plan ultimately points to chasing the money, the money, the money, the money.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said is fantastic. Always be open to change, right? As an entrepreneur, you
Mm-hmm.
always have to be open to change, because you
Mm-hmm.
might have a strategy, and as you're getting to know your market and your customers and your reason
Mm-hmm.
why, that plan can completely change 180 degrees. And it's okay if it changes. It's all about how you can adapt and you can evolve, right? And
Mm-hmm.
also, if you do it genuinely and you do it with passion and you do it with love and care, then it's not about chasing the money, because the money will ultimately come as a result
Mm-hmm.
of you doing these things, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a great message out there for everybody. So please, for all of you guys out there who are starting your own business, don't give up on yourselves, right? Don't feel
Yeah.
that if you hit a wall, it's the end of it all, because
Yeah.
you're gonna hit a wall even if you're at a job in corporate America 100,000 times,
Absolutely.
and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to fail, and failure is nothing else but an opportunity of wisdom, right? And so
Absolutely.
if you're going to fail at your own dream, not at somebody else's dream, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love this. So
Mm-hmm.
taking it back a little bit from, I guess, the inspirational standpoint, from a
Sure.
technical standpoint, what did you guys decide to use as your platforms? Because I know there's a bunch of them out there in the market in order to follow your dream and to make
Yeah.
your business happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we talked about several, I did work with a consultant, we kind of vetted out a couple, gave me the pros and cons of a couple different systems. It's in the end, and they're all good systems, and they work for different people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
For us, knowing what I wanted to do in terms of being focused on the business, or being able to focus on the business side versus having to do daily, let me manually update that, or let me change this, and I'm going to a pop-up market and I sold this much and now I have to go and adjust my inventory, or do something like that. We decided to go with Square. Square was a platform that offered us the opportunity to be across all channels. So it allowed me to focus on the business. So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm either at a pop-up market, I'm even someone shopping on the web simultaneously on our website, or I'm at a private party, and I have maybe two different people checking customers out, for their transactions. Everything gets updated automatically. So whether at whatever location I'm at, whether I'm at a pop-up market, someone shopping on the web simultaneously, we're
Mm-hmm.
having a private party and two different people are doing transactions, everything updates automatically on the inventory side. So, that Square offered that, it's integrated completely with our POS, and the inventory that lives on the site. So, it made reconciliation, it made updating, keeping track of, of correct, accurate inventories, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing, because you definitely don't want to have a ton of out of stocks, when you're a small business. I don't carry much inventory to begin with, so I want to make sure that that inventory is accurate. So that definitely was something that sold me, because I knew I wanted to spend my time on some of the things that we talked about earlier, and being present and being out there. So it was going to be difficult for me to do both, and it's worked for me. We've also used, during COVID, they have a delivery option.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been able to use that as well. And that gives the customer, people that live far away can't, but the local customer, gives them that free shipping, because we don't charge on delivery.
Nice,
It's
nice.
something that we decided to offer for, a certain mile radius, and, the city's not that large. So, it was easy to do, but it gave them that extra, incentive to want to buy.
No, that's great. Yeah, especially I'm sure
Mhm.
with all your years of experience in corporate America, usually all the technical systems are so complex and
Yeah.
every single environment has their own database
Mhm.
and you have the one
Mhm.
database for e-commerce and the one for the POS and then you want to do promotions and that's another separate database for the
Mhm.
promotions. So no,
Yeah.
that's great that you guys ended up using Square. I've heard a lot of great things about Square and
Mhm.
how they're seemingly integrated and you can run your promotions, you
Mhm.
can run your gift cards, you
Mhm.
can pretty much do everything that you need
Yeah.
from your business and having a higher level of traffic, because I think that's kind of been the fear that I've heard from a lot of listeners is they
Mhm.
always think Square, they think small business, right? And they
Mhm.
think, oh, it's just for the mom and pop shop. But I think
Mhm.
that's not the case. I
Yeah.
think they have continuously grown as
Yeah.
a company and at servicing high traffic clients,
Mhm.
right? So that if you
Mhm.
have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30, 100 people shopping at the same time, it doesn't
Yes.
impact your system and everybody's being taken
Mhm.
care of.
Yeah, we definitely looked into, their scalability,
Hmm.
to make sure that we would be able to scale down the road with them. And, we felt really confident. And then just, again, we're on a smaller scale right now, but just even in doing 4 or 5 different transactions at the same time, it was fine. So as we move forward, we feel confident that they'll work with us.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Michelle, thank you so much for your input and all your time. Is there anything else you would like to say before we depart for the day?
No, I just encourage everyone, especially, new entrepreneurs to stick with it. It's not easy, again, but you go back to your why. If it's something you truly believe in, then it won't, you'll be able to push through no matter what. That plan, that initial plan, and be ready for some humps in the road. Definitely, might happen to be a pandemic, but people are safe, and that's the most important thing.
Hmm.
But as we work through, there'll always be something else, that may come up, and you just have to be ready for it and just push through it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate your time and thank you so much for your input. ConfidencePlusFashion.com is the website for Confidence Plus Fashion. Great line of apparel. I took a look at it and it looks fantastic. So I recommend for everybody to go take a look at it. And if you guys have any questions for Michelle or any input, I'm sure she'll be more than happy. Of course, she features a lot of people in her website additionally to
Mhm.
selling goods. So please reach out to us or to her directly. And we'll love to put
Absolutely.
you guys in contact, right? To showcase
Yeah.
other features and other stories from other folks. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the Retail Podcast one more time this week.
Thank you.
Michelle, thank you for your time. Have a beautiful weekend, and
Thank you
we'll
for
be in
having me,
touch.
Carlos.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. If you would like to participate in the Retail Corner conversation, please sign up via email at retailcorner@proxima360.com or sign up on our website at proxima360.com. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week. Stay safe and have a great weekend.